Very sad, but very unfortunate, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for letting me tune in. This is the Coronado R.T. Harris Show. Owner of the Global Marketing, George Stakeholder of our 10-year, 15-year, 30-year corporate private public. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people at Morehouse and the Moors, they are realizing that they really can't do nothing without their money. You know what I mean? You know, they did a lot of killings and what they call honor killings yesterday. They showed their true colored pencils and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, when they needed that blunt, they couldn't find no good quality. You know what I mean? They really couldn't find that, you know, because they realizing who they should have been goddamn acknowledging at the end of the day. And it's a little too late now. You know? Let's say now you're experiencing quadruple withdrawal. Now, see, when you go through quadruple withdrawal, you're thinking about going back to church. You know what I'm saying? That ash that was on your lips, it starts turning into skin. You know what I'm saying? At first it was ash, you know, and you had ashy lips. Now that ash is turning into your skin. You know what I'm saying? Now you look like you got that chalk. You tell the barber to put that chalk around your forehead and that Beijing. Now your lip ash is turned into Beijing and natural chalk, and it look like part of you. Because that's how confused you are. Now you talking about getting right with the Lord, and I need to leave them opioids and all that granddaddy Oceans 12 and Northern Lights and that mid and that Irene and that gangster Kush. I need to leave that shit alone, man. But really, you don't mean it. You saying it because you can't find the money and you can't find it. Okay? You know what I'm saying? And what you really need to be saying is I shouldn't have messed with Nardo. Deep down in your heart, that's what you should have been saying. I should have left him alone, man, because we wouldn't be going through this. Because even if you go cold turkey all the way to Turkey Day Classic, whenever you get some money and whenever the goddamn dealer come back, you gonna go right back to it, and that's the truth. You know what I'm saying? Even if you go cold turkey like Ray Charles, when that hair run come back to town, you going right for it. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be like a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, what you just said when Nardo passed by that church, we shouldn't have did him like that. You know, because it cost us a whole lot. You know, it cost the bus, it cost the Greyhound, it cost the city at Montgomery, it cost Walmart, Target, Chick-fil-A, it cost you, it cost everybody. You know what I'm saying? Now it's costing the SEC. You know what I'm saying? Now it's costing Regions Bank, the retirement systems of Alabama. They needed that money 2 days ago. You know what I'm saying? Now the stock market. Dow Jones don't have a pot to piss in. I'm Dow Jones now. I'm the Dow Jones. You know what I'm saying? You don't have nobody to act like they me. You know what I'm saying? He's gone. You know what I'm saying? Now you got Koranado. It's hell. Mitch Hell down there. You see what I'm saying? I don't tell you, man. I don't know what got into you, but you look like a baby. You look bad. You look real bad. But I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't really like BET, but I'm gonna watch Sisters though. I'm gonna watch that. They got some thick sisters on that show. I'm gonna watch that show. It's coming on the 23rd. They got a show called Sisters, and they are thick, and they got a lot of dairy products. Real thick and moist. You know, it's just like waiting to exhale, you know what I mean? Most sisters, even if they married, they could be married to the pastor, like. They could be married to the head deacon in the church. They still, it's just like they don't have nobody. You ever notice that? It's one thing about the sisters. They don't have nobody, like, you know. They can have the biggest diamond ring you ever seen on their finger. They can have the nicest house out there in Wind Lakes. But when you start waiting to exhale, and they get to talking, none of them don't have nothing. They don't have nobody. It's just like they available and looking for Mr. Right. I don't know how they came up with that. No matter how successful, no matter how many degrees and PhDs and master's degrees, no matter how many time that man to renew their vows, when they get to talking behind at that set on that series, they be saying they don't have nobody. They can't wait to find Mr. Right. Like, very sad, but very true. I don't watch BT, but I think I'm gonna watch that show, cause you don't have some lady trying to trace your stuff. Down there trying to trace your stuff and put it on outside of the bus like it's theirs, and down there at Ross taking stuff back like it's theirs and getting money for it. And then when they do get money, they go to Ross and use it and take it back and get their money back after they done wore it to the club. You know what I mean? Bring that thing back smelling like 1,000 cigarettes, like cigarette smoking Egyptian mustard, like they ain't got the nerve. And I'm gonna tell you what they do. They gonna put the receipt back on and the tag back on it like that. They done went down there, put your stuff on it, then took it down there to the club and then smoked Newports and cool cigarettes. They got some Long Island iced tea in your clothes. Then gonna put the tag back on there and put it back in the bag like they never used. That's a shame, like. So and that's roguish. They need to come up with a show called Roguish instead of Brownish and Mixedish. They need to say, coming from the bootleg makers of Brownish and Mixedish, there's a show coming out called Roguish, and that they are like as roguish as they want to be. That's like, and they need to give David Woods his receipt back and tell him that he need to come get his stuff back because they cheated him. Man, that ain't fair. Somebody cheat you out of your stuff, man. You ought to be able to say, look, this equipment, this was faulty. You know what I mean? I need my money back. You cheated me. You know what I'm saying? This was not up to manufacturer standards. And me and my family, we want our money back because you cheated us. I'll tell you, that might be the biggest civil rights issue. It'll be the biggest civil rights issue where some Negroes cheated some white folks out of their stuff in the heart of the Confederacy. Well, they'll be talking about that thing for a long time. Some Negroes then discriminated on white folks, cheated them out of their money and their stuff. Sad with it. I'm gonna tell you, goddamn David Woods, you need to call Julian. Call Julian, cause he sure gonna pick the phone up. He gonna tell you to come down right now. I think I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. And while you're down there, David, tell Alexander Shinari, goddamn, he need to pack his shit up and leave my money in that house on Perry Street. Pack it and leave my money under the floorboard and get his ass out of town. And you see David pull up at Julian place. And I just, hey, let's bow our heads and pray, ladies and gentlemen, that the city of Montgomery does not come under the spell of Southside Chicago. Like, just please bow our heads and pray. Because the last time they had a Moore came in from Morehouse and started telling people the way it goes in Chicago, there's not one young African American left in Chicago. They've all killed each other because they found out what the Asiatic original brown man's supposed to be. A straight killer. A straight genocide. You know? He kill his own man off every day, all day. Well, let's bow our heads and pray that the city of Montgomery is not bamboozled by that Morehouse thing that they original Asiatic, kill your neighbor, kill each one, kill one, whatever that stuff is. Like, please don't let them start it here, like, please. I just hope they don't do that, like. Very sad, but very true. And let's please somebody call the Turks in Turkey and stop killing all the U.S. troops that's over there in the Kurdish army. Tell Turkey to stop killing the Kurds right now, buddy. And then, just because Stephen cheated his way into office, that don't mean you start killing up the Kurds. I don't know how the hell they came up with that shit. It don't make no sense at all. Most people celebrate with champagne and blunts and riding dirty and drink some champagne or some Ace of Spades or some Dom Perignon. These niggas celebrating by killing folks. Like, I gotta say this might be the saddest day in history. You know, folks started a civil battle like nobody ever seen because that man cheated his way in the office. Like, that is some sad stuff. And I ain't gonna lie, I seen so many light-skinned folks coming to the barber yesterday. They was just showing you when they have a mean mug that they still look like they don't have a mean mug. I watched them, you know. They came in there with their Morehouse colors on, and they refused to get a haircut, but they sat there and looked. And man, it was the most awful thing I ever seen. People frowning and wrinkling their forehead only for them to look like they weren't really mad. I couldn't take it anymore. I packed my stuff up and I got the hell up out of there. When they did that god-awful sit-in yesterday. They refused to pay for haircuts, but they refused to leave. You see what I'm saying? And they all sat there with that same color that Steve and Joe have. And they sit up there and stared us down. They had on those Ronald McDonald uniform, just like that goddamn Tuskegee and Morehouse color. You know what I'm saying? And they was frowning and bitter, but they didn't look mad at all. I can't describe it. I couldn't take it anymore. I got my stuff and I left. I had to get out of there because it was a real waste of time. I wasn't gonna let them do me like they did David Woods. And I get up and get my stuff and it was gone. You know what I mean? I didn't want them to pull that magic trick on me. Like, when I come to see if my Clippers and my UPS was there, and they done put Hall Street on the receipt. You know? The only thing the UPS sticker said was Hall Street. You know? I ain't got no time for that dumbass shit. You know, stuff like that. And you hate to kill light-skinned folks, but I tell you, I don't know why